Bloomberg West anchor Emily Chang and Bloomberg West editor-at-large Cory Johnson are with Larry Marcus, venture capitalist.
Hey there, Eric. Yeah, we're here with Larry Marcus, an investor in a number of music companies, including Pandora, and a musician himself. Larry, I hear you're a fantastic drummer. But let's talk a little bit about how Steve Jobs transformed the world of music, and over the last decade, as you saw it, and all of these companies that adapted to the changes that Apple kept bringing forth.
Well, he was so inspirational to me, and I got my first Mac in school and even opened up a computer store where I was helping people use Macs. And I'm a collector of vintage dead hardware, including a bunch of Mac products that continue to inspire me, both in the ways that they tried to change the world, not only for music consumption, but photography and handheld devices. So I brought an Apple Newton, which was this is the H1000. It's the first Newton, and this was a terrible failure. It wasn't.
I remember lugging that thing on an F train in New York, and people looked at me like I was a lunatic.
And
I haven't seen them since.
And it was really hard to interact with, but it was a way to just experiment with a new interface. This was 1993, and around that same time, this is really the first digital camera, the QuickTake 100, and this had 8 images of 640 by 480. That was the capacity of it.
When did that come out?
This was 1993 also.
So it sounds you've got this museum of Macintosh failures or of Apple failures in your office. What's the lesson you learned from that? Because a failure is an orphan, right?
That's right. Well, the thing that he figured out is that people buy experiences. They don't just buy a piece of hardware. So that's what really happened with the iPod in 2002. That's the original one.
So this is the very first iPod.
Right, and it's so big, and you forget how big it is, but it was so revolutionary. But you were buying the experience to have portable music, and it was really easy to use. And so for music, that's really what he's done. It's now you carry music in your pocket, and the iPhone, with its connectivity, has become a great way not only to carry songs you love, but radio is the biggest application in music on the iPhone with Pandora, but other apps too.
Would you say that the iPod was the beginning of the second coming of Apple and the second coming of Steve Jobs?
It was the first time that they combined media, mass market consumer media, with the product. Early on, even with the Macintosh, they figured out that you'd care about a simple word processor or just simple painting. So the software worked beautifully with the hardware, and he understood there was special ways that you could use a mouse, and then you'd want to use that on the computer. Well, the iPhone, as just the legacy of that, it took lessons from the video game industry and gave third-party apps a great chance to breathe, but always pushing the boundaries of human-computer interface. And now they're doing it again by focusing on voice, and that was a big legacy of his.
Do you remember the first time you saw Steve Jobs in person?
I do.
Tell us about that.
Well, it was actually at a party, and it was just inspiring to see a man who just had really changed computing in my life. And I went back because of corporate reasons to the PC for a while, but came back to the Mac, and now I just we have Mac everywhere, and it's just a magnificent product for users, and I've always appreciated that intense focus on users.
All right, Larry Marcus, a partner at Walden Venture Capital. Clearly, Steve Jobs, an inspiration to so many people, including yourself.